Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Season 2, Episode 5 of Fire Force. So, we're still in the battles for Inca. We're still trying to get her over to either side. Arthur's taking on Haumea. We still have the fight between Shinra and the other guy whose name I cannot remember. And the rest of the Fire Force are doing their jobs as well. It's pretty hectic. It's pretty chaotic. There's a demon infernal on the loose, uh, but the Fire Force has gotten a lot of backup from other companies. Company 8 has been helped out by the more, you know, friendly companies and members of other companies as well. We haven't seen any Princess Hibana, which is a crime, but we have seen that her company is there. So yeah, uh, this is looking to be pretty interesting though, because Inca doesn't want to go with either side. She's actively fighting back against both sides. She doesn't like the control and the seeming like desire that the Fire Force has to keep her safe, but she also doesn't like the idea of the White Clads basically ruling her life. So it's going to be interesting to see how she handles all of it. And is she going to end up going with one of them, or is she going to somehow not? Just not. I feel like that's almost impossible at this point, though. I feel like with the way that this battle's going, she has to pick a side. And I don't know what side it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to connect to in the future. I don't know where this is going to go, basically. Um, like it just seems weird that she would pick either side at this point because she's so strongly against both sides. But if she's forced into it, it's like, I mean, what is she going to do, really, you know? I mean, one of her friends was murdered before her eyes by the White Clads. It's like, you would think that that would turn her completely away from them, but I don't know. She's crazy. Like, she is actively kind of crazy. So, it's too hard to say. It's too hard to say. Um, but believe it or not, I am interested, despite the fact that it seems like I'm avoiding this series more so than other ones. It's just the fact that the other shows on my list right now, or on my schedule, I should say, are more interesting to me. It's not a fault of this series. It's rather that the other ones are just more interesting. That doesn't make this one less interesting. It just makes this one less so than the others. You know what I mean? Um, because of that, it's like I want to get to everything else on the schedule, and this one just kind of like is there. Um, Excuse me for all the yawning. Just woke up, so yeah. But yeah, it's like I do want to get to this. It's just I would rather be getting to stuff like link click or other things. So yeah. Um, I hope I'm explaining that well enough. But either way, I am excited to see more of this. Um, I'm just curious as to where it's going to go at this point. Because even after this little, like, act, this little arc we have with Inca and everything, like, even once she decides and everything, are we just going to move on and start to focus on other stuff? Or are we going to kind of still have her as the big focus either way? Like, if she joins us the Fire Force, are we still going to focus on her and, like, protecting her and keeping her away from the Whiteclads and training her up as a member of the Fire Force? If she joins the Whiteclads, are we going to focus on the Fire Force getting her back right away? Like, what is going to be the plan here? Where is the story going to go? That's what I'm wondering. Okay. So, we're just going to get this started otherwise, because I am still not fully woken up. Clearly. Oh. And I just want to get into this because I have other stuff to record today. But that all being said, let's get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, this episode was all about the second generations. We find out that, oh my god, I can't remember his name already. This is kind of sad, honestly. How easily I forget his name. Charon. I have to try and remember. His name has Char in it, you know, because the fire connection. And then it's you're putting the char on like a stake or something. I don't know. Just some kind of like device to remember it. Charon. We find out that he's a second generation, not a third generation as was initially thought. He hadn't been creating his own fire, but rather converting kinetic energy launched at him by Shinra into fire and explosions. Which is a very different way of seeing a second generation than others we've seen so far. Like, even compared to the others in this episode, the way he handles and manipulates the flames are just different. And that's a good thing. That's what I want to see. People who have the same generation of fire usage use them in different ways. So, yeah. And once Shinra figures this out, he starts formulating a plan to use the Korna hand sign, because as we know, for some reason, hand signs affect your fire manipulation and shit. But he plans to use that in order to help him counter the release of Charon's attacks. And at first he has trouble doing so, but eventually manages to get it down, being the first person to ever hurt Charon, to ever deal some damage to him. Because Charon has this insane toughness. And this is something that still a lot of people don't, like, understand. Toughness is not the same as strength. Being tough and being strong are not the same. Tough is about how much damage you can take. Toughness, the tougher you are, the more you're able to withstand. The stronger you are, the more you're able to put out. Toughness is how much you can take in without, like, taking damage or, you know, it affecting you as much. Toughness and strength are two different things. And Charon here put all of his points into toughness, clearly. Like, he has strength too, but all of his strength literally comes from the damage he would otherwise take, the kinetic energy that is launched at him. He's just converting it and releasing it back, basically. He's not, the strength isn't actually his own, it's his opponent's strength that he's using against them. Pretty much everything he is that toughness, the fact that he's able to take all of that kinetic energy. The fact that it doesn't affect him, it doesn't hurt him. So an opponent's attack has to be exceptionally strong to do anything against him. And the Corna attack, Shinra embracing the idea of being a devil who kills devils, basically, that gives him the ability and the power to be able to use that counter method to do some damage. It's not a lot. It's very little damage, all things considered. But it is something. And through this all, Inca is getting more excited because she starts seeing the danger and she kind of has this, kink for danger, practically. Um, and it's like, you want to see more of this shit? Go to the Fire Forces side. It's like, come on, let's push you over to that side. Stay away from the White Clads. Like, yeah, they're dangerous too, but come on. I think that's going to be kind of the clincher no matter what, though. I think that she is going to side with the whichever side she sees is more dangerous, and that kind of, I feel, translates to whichever side wins this fight. And I'm thinking it's unfortunately going to be the White Clads. I think that Charon's going to defeat Shinra. Like, Shinra's just learning how to do this. I don't think it's going to be enough to defeat Charon yet. I think Charon's going to win. Inca's going to be convinced by the danger aspect of it, and she's going to go with them. I do think she's possibly going to revert in the future once she sees how, fucked up the White Clads are. But that's just hopeful thinking at the same time. With the way this is going, I'm thinking that she is going to end up joining the White Clads, just because I think that Charon's going to prove to be more dangerous to her, and again, that's what she's looking for. So yeah, that's the only real reason there. But I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, meanwhile, we had the rest of the Fire Force working together, using the second generations to herd the fire into the central square of the town, where Maki helped forge it into a firestorm, a giant flaming tornado. It's like, we've already had Sharknado. Why not Flamenado as well? It's like, just why the fuck not? It's like, the thing is, I think firestorms do exist. I think it's a real phenomenon. I don't 100% know how it happens, but I want to say it's just when, like, the air and wind inside a tornado is ignited somehow. But I believe they do exist. I think they're just pretty rare that they happen. Because I swear I've heard of them before. And if they don't exist in real life, I still have heard of them before. I just don't know why or where. Maybe the idea is just like floated around. But yeah, it's like, it's a terrifying concept. The idea of a tornado that is on fire is fucking horrifying. Like, tornadoes are already scary as hell. It's like, you don't need to add fire to that mix. But Maki is able to keep it under control long enough that they are able to, despite Obi's lack of aiming skills, launch the Demon Infernal into it, allowing it to act as a booster cannon for a strong, powerful shot to kill it. And it worked. It worked completely. And at the end, the Lieutenant of the First is able to freeze it. So, yeah, all is Gucci. All is Gucci. But we still have other stuff going on. Arthur is still fighting Haumea, though that fight I don't think is going to have an end. I think that after Inca is taken with the White Clads, after she sees the danger in them and decides to go with them, which I think is going to happen. I think at that point they're going to retreat. They have no reason to keep fighting at that point. They're going to leave. Haumea is going to just abandon the fight. I don't think her versus Arthur is going to have an end. And I think that I think that on the other side, Shinra is going to lose. He's going to keep trying, but he is going to effectively lose. And it's going to be tough for him to fail this, but that's where I think it's going. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out as we continue on. Um, but as I was saying in the pre-thoughts and all, like, despite the fact that I seem to have trouble getting to this and everything, like I don't get to this as often as other shows. I'm not as like hyped for this seemingly. It's like I actually am. I am hyped for this series. I do really enjoy this. You guys know that the first season impressed the shit out of me. It ended up being a lot better than I ever expected it to be. I thought it was just going to be generic shonen slop, and it ended up being fantastic. And then I found out it's by the same creator as Soul Eater, and it's like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense then, because Soul Eater is pretty unique and great too. Um, but yeah, it's like I'm definitely excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see how this fight continues and what more can be done. Excuse me. In regards to trying to help Inca, even if she doesn't want it. Like I said, though, I think she is going to join the Whiteclads. I think she's just going to eventually see how they're not just dangerous, they're evil, and she is going to come back to the good side. That's what I still think is going to happen. But I could be wrong. It's very possible. I could very much be wrong. Who knows? Um, yeah. I am genuinely very excited for more of this. It's just with the other stuff on my schedule and stuff that's going to be starting soon as well. Um, it's just I don't know how quickly I'm going to keep being able to get to these. It's just like, but that's part of our unscheduled format. I told you guys this when we started doing that, and you guys were fine with it. It's like that's what we're doing. It's unscheduled. I get to things whenever I get to things. If that means a certain series is like has like a week between episodes and stuff, or 2 weeks between episodes, or even more at times, then that's what it means. That's just gonna be the case. You're gonna have to deal with it. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to get to more. It just depends on what I want to get to at any given moment, what I'm in the mood for, and just what I'm feeling up to focusing on at the time. My my interests can change, but more so in regards to this, my feelings on what I again want to watch at any given time can change. Because it's like sometimes I'm just not in the mood for this kind of series. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for horror. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for comedy. Just depends. But either way, um, I'm willing to give anything a chance. And this is every time I watch it, I just really like it. So it's like it's not one of those shows where it's like I dread getting to it, or I'm like having to force myself to get to it. No, I want to get to it. It's just there's other stuff that has a higher priority to me. That's the only thing. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for continuing to support this series, and thank you to Matthew Vasquez once again for being the donator for this series. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.